We have good news and tough times on Living Hope with your hosts, Don O'Brien and John Tilton. So tune in. This week's guest will be myself, Tony Silva of the Braddahs. Find out some of the hilarious characters that may or may not be presented that day, including Linda Lingo. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we've gone through this COVID crisis, including Donald Tiny Bubbles, including whatever you folks would like to watch. Bring in your popcorn, it's going to be a good one.
Aloha ohana and welcome to life's most rare and precious treats, what we in Hawaii call Talk Story.
It's a slice of paradise, and today's an extra treat.
Yep, one of Hawaii's very best and local brother who's made a living out of cracking us up. It's Tony Silva of the dynamic duo, the Braddahs, along with the other brother, James Roche. These two baboozers devoted their lives and careers to making Hawaii bust out laughing.
Plus, this year's extra special, the Braddahs celebrates 25 years of local comedy. 25 years! That's the Silva anniversary.
Whoa! To think that it all started out as two local boys joking backstage at the Don Ho show in Waikiki. Unreal!
Tony is a local celebrity, but also a personal friend for decades. And true story, I keep waiting to see him have like a bad day or a bad mood. I'm still waiting, I swear. And worse, when I snap, he turns my frown upside down and makes me laugh. So eras!
But truth be told, storms hit every shore. In 2020, the Braddahs, like all Hawaii entertainers, lost their livelihoods. In January 2021, Tony lost his mom, Donna, a single mom, suddenly to cancer. And in the next few months, a few more personal crises also broke Tony's heart.
It was a lot, but Tony has a talent to turn a frown upside down and the bad into the glad, stress into success.
Today, he'll share the secret of his success, both in comedy and in life.
And we all need some of that because we got a lot of stress right now. We need less of that stress, more success, less of this mess, and a whole lot more miracles.
So get comfortable and get ready for a warm heart-to-heart and maybe a few LOLs
Maybe.
with Tony, the Braddahs Silva. First, here are a few happy headlines from Good News Hawaii.
What's up, Ohana? Here comes some of the best news that you'll hear all month. It's Good News Hawaii, a double portion, double scoop of good news for everybody.
Yep, two great stories for you right now. First up, let's start with the epic prophetic. There's epic Christian entertainment coming soon to the tune of $1 billion.
Oh, that makes it the most expensive TV series ever, and I'm too excited. It's the Lord of the Rings prequel entitled The Rings of Power from classic Christian author J.R.R. Tolkien. And of course, it was filmed in New Zealand.
Middle Earth, home of the hobbits. By the way, my favorite part of those films.
Oh wait, let me guess. It's the love story?
You know.
Maybe the tall, dark, and handsome Aragorn played by Viggo Mortensen?
No.
Okay, maybe the fun names like Bilbo Baggins and Frodo?
No, come on.
Okay, I give up. What is it then?
The fact that the hobbits don't just eat one breakfast, but second breakfast. What a concept! Life-changing.
I should have
right
guessed
there.
that, I know. But get ready for this billion-dollar fantasy epic on Amazon Prime coming this September 2022. Winter is coming.
Wrong show.
The rings are coming.
Yeah. Second good news Hawaii story, wanna go prom? An astounding story of a Hawaii lady and a local nonprofit who hooey together hundreds of free prom dresses and thousands of dollars free for our Oahu Ohana, even when the lockdown shut down prom.
Andrea Tupola and her team of volunteers is the powerhouse behind the Young Women's Prom event, and it was hosted right here at New Hope, Oahu.
The event is fabulous, and it includes great motivational speakers, glitzy fashion show, and of course, the dresses.
Tupola said the focus is on natural beauty inside and out to empower young women with positive self-image, self-talk, and self-respect.
In fact, one teen said, "I enjoyed every part of it. People make fun of me because I don't have a home, but I left the event feeling beautiful." Another teen said her prom was canceled, but she heard Andrea talking about doing your own event, not allowing anyone to shut you down, so she did. She and her friends loved hosting their own event with the donated dresses.
Wow, thank you so much to Andrea Tupola, her team, and the many businesses, nonprofits, and community members who donated resources and dresses. The Young Women's Prom event is indeed a crowning moment for our Hawaii.
That's your good news, Hawaii. Even in tough times, remember to keep looking up. Aloha!
Oh, brother, look at this, man. Somebody leave a perfectly good iPhone over here for these two Polynesian guys.
Are you serious?
I'm not right here. It's unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Well, brother, since there's an iPhone already here with a tripod, man, why don't you leave a message on top of the Instagrams?
Well, how about this? We tell you guys 25 years of the Braddahs and Friends on Spectrum OC16. That's some good news.
That's some good news. Jackie, oh yeah. Hey, brother, what's better than awesome?
What?
Super cherry.
Oh!
How do you turn this off? Oh, right here. Oh, that.
So Tony, you and James are coming up on your 25-year anniversary, the Silva anniversary. And, you know, it's such a hard business. And earlier we were talking about how, you know, some artists have a limited window. What's been the secret of your success?
I think the secret for us is just, well, humility, putting God first in our lives, and always changing what it is that we do. For example, the audience didn't see today, but when you folks invited me to the set, you had this wonderful music. I came in, I did a dance routine, and you allowed me to do that, because I know not all your guests are privy to that type of activity.
Right.
And so I appreciate you letting me do my Michael Jackson and my Prince moves. And my TikTok motions.
And the Holy Spirit activates.
And
that perspective.
just keeping it different. James and I have this God-ordained synergy that can't be matched, and patience to deal with one another, because it's like a relationship, right? You know, it's like a husband and wife. You're there on the set. We think alike. We want to be in charge, and so you got to work together. And we're able to do just that and make it work over the years.
I just love how many of the viewers get to see you and how you put God first. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know many are called, and I try my best. Obviously, I'll be the first to say, we all make mistakes, but I try to put our community, I try to put our families first in whatever it is that we do. And most times it works out. I'm just glad that we are now able to perform and see faces again, as our state starts to open up, and now we're starting to do live performances. So blessed, yeah. And the many doors that have opened up during this so-called COVID time.
So let's talk about that a little bit. During 2020, it was a hard time for a lot of local entertainers. And you went through a loss of your mom, 2021.
Correct.
Single mom, she raised you. And then a couple of other personal crises. How do you maintain your joy, Tony Silva?
Well, I like your logo, Good Times and
Good news.
Good news in tough times. Thank you, Don. And I've just been blessed because it was a tough year. Make it a year and a half, right? And depression, mental health is huge right now as we're going into as we're in this 2022 season. People are coming out of this; they don't know where to go. And I got to tell you, if it wasn't for, I like what Pastor Bulla said the best. His worship, where he goes to duke it out, is worship. And for me, it's just the same. Worship music for me gets me started in the morning. I mean, I'm getting all choked up right now, but it sets the tone for my day. And Clint Brown is like the Luther Vandross of gospel music.
Amen.
Clint Brown, I will always honor that man. And he gets me going, starts my day right, and I can start to put things into perspective. But this past year, yes, I lost my mom in early 2020. A bunch of other things happened with my family. I could have easily just dug into a hole and stayed there. but because of the grace and mercy of God, I'm able to do what I love and persevere and bring joy and happiness to people. I mean, because that's what it's about.
But can we talk about that just a little bit? Because it's so good that you find worship, right? That's your source. But do you, Tony Silva, have a bad day or a hard day? Did you get down into the tears? Did you go through a season?
Absolutely. Anybody who says they don't have a bad day, they're lying. I do have my bad days, like I just said. When I tend to have that and I speak abrupt or speak wrongly to my kids, again, besides prayer, worship music is where I go with it. But people tend to think, oh, you hide your feelings behind humor, comedy. And I always say there's a time and place. You have to know when to do it. It has to be a proper place to do it, and who's around that would enjoy it, so that you can share that. And then most importantly is just activating that Holy Spirit to come on in and work the gift that was given to you, to work the fields. And that's what we've been able to do.
And we work together on Choose Aloha in the DOE schools to get children to choose aloha, not hate or bullying.
Social emotional learning program that's now in 260 different schools statewide. Just throwing it out there. It's crazy. And that's a God-ordained thing right there, that door opened up.
And that happened during 2020, 2021. So we were filming some videos for that, teaching videos, because a lot of teachers were overwhelmed and overrun during the 2020 crisis and 2021. We're sitting on set. He's obviously a massive professional for 20-something years. We're talking about forgiveness, and he's beginning to read the lines on our teleprompter, and he starts to cry. I've never seen Tony Silva cry in our best friendship of 2 decades. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do we need to stop the cameras? What's going on?
Holy Spirit movement.
Yeah, because, we're trying to teach educators and people that support our kids. They're with our kids 4, 6, 8 hours, sometimes longer, every day. We're trying to, instill in them something, impart, and give them something to hold on to as they move into this education year on Zoom.
They're on the front lines of this battle.
Line. Right. And then as I'm reading the information to share with them, I'm realizing it's really not for the kids. It's actually for them specifically, for us.
That's good.
For the big
as
kids.
we grow through this COVID pandemic, and is to build our spirit without saying that, because it's this DOE. You can't get into Jesus talk, but we got to do it in a way, it's written in a way that it's all God.
And that's so biblical. Life experiences and life lessons.
Right.
The Lord calls us to be able to take that out of the desert time or whatever we're going through.
Amen. And you either answer the call, or you just spend the 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 years just going around in circles. And I've been there, done that. I don't like it. I prefer this way better. Yeah.
One of the stories you share that really moves you, Tony, and that's the importance. We're talking about the educators and adults getting filled first, because we're going through some rigorously hard times right now. We got to get all filled up so that we can pour into our keiki. But you talked about an adult that poured into your life. Do you want to share a little bit about that story?
Ooh.
Oh my.
This was Kamehameha Schools, as everyone who knows, on senior night football stadium. During halftime, they would come down and give lace to all the senior men. And when they call out for my name, S. Silva toward the back end, right? So I'm one of the last people. And my mom said she would be there, but she never showed. One of my Calabash mothers, Lena Alakalamahaini, stepped out into the walkway and came down and knew that my mom was in there and gave me that lei. But it wasn't just the act of giving me that lei, because that really transformed my thinking and gratitude for this woman who didn't raise me, but recognized a situation like that could have beaten down any kid right there. And I could have used that as an excuse to go, you know what, I'm just going to get involved with drugs. This wasn't a case. It actually built my spirit man up to realize that, okay, my mom couldn't make it. And I knew why. My mom was a bartender, and she worked very hard. Don't get me wrong. My mom always made sure we had food on the table, a roof over our heads, so it's not that. But she had late hours, early hours, and she worked till late at night. So I knew she wasn't going to be there, but she told me she was. So when an adult tells you they're going to do something and they don't, even as a teenage boy, it's hurtful. And I didn't realize how much it hurt me until that very moment. And then this woman comes down and she changes everything. But from that moment on, I realized it was a much greater calling on my life than just me being selfish and saying, well, yeah, well, you know, my mom's mean, and that's not the case. So, yeah, but yeah, definitely transformed me from that point.
And that's part of the lessons we teach in Choose Aloha, and the difference that an adult can make in a child's life, or I would say that a child can make for an adult's life. So we're sitting and we're talking about living hope with Tony Silva. He does have bad days. I knew it, but he helps to overcome and to teach others to overcome. We're gonna come back with a little bit more in just a second. So take a quick break, don't leave, come right back. We'll be with Tony Silva and Mr. John Tilton.
Do you ever feel anxious or worried? If you do, can I encourage you? Your life is like a canoe. It's being paddled in a particular direction. It may be towards your calling or it may be away from your calling, but you are in the steersman's seat. Your destination will be determined by what you choose to steer that canoe with. Are you steering your canoe with a paddle of anxiety? Maybe you're steering holding on to worry. In moments when you feel anxiety, remember that there are many others in your boat who are there to support you. Realize that your self-worth is more important than what's inducing anxiety in the first place. Your life is greater than your present moment, and your purpose is too important to quit right now. Paddle toward your purpose, and when you do, you'll find that even today, hope is alive.
Discover hope this weekend at New Hope Oahu. For more information, visit enewhope.org.
Okay, jump it down! Bully, you better not be angry with me, boy. Sully, come down over here now. Huh? Sully, calm down. Calm down. Yes, calm down now. But Dad, I'm not angry. Bully, you better come down over here now. But Dad, I'm not angry. Oh, Bully, calm down, calm down, calm down. Okay, Dad, I'm hungry. I'm gonna calm down. Hey, boy, was you angry? So, Tony, we both grew up locally, you know, Waimanalo, Hauula, Waipahu, and us as local boys, we've always dabbled, you know, we tried everything, smoking, drinking with our friends, but we also, many times when things would go bad, we'd use it to cope. But I heard that you've never touched that stuff. You sure?
Green bottles, green buds, come on, be real.
I mean,
That's amazing.
For a kid that grew up around it,
Everything.
Mom is a bartender,
Yes.
right? So alcohol, it comes with all the other fun stuff, cocaine. Now the drug of choice is
Crack,
meth. I mean, I think being the oldest of the kids, I took on a mindset that I need to be there for them. And being that my mom at times was not, I decided, you know what, I better put on this hat of, you know, being independent, but yet being a leader in the household. So don't get me wrong, I've made my fair share of mistakes in other departments, but when it came to drugs, drinking, nope. I can honestly say a joint has never touched these hands or these, okay, excuse me, it's touched these hands, but not these lips.
Oh, now we're getting into
I passed it on. The
go.
truth be told, so we all have those opportunities, right?
Come on.
Try it, man. It's like, no, I'm good. And you know, that choice, you know, that's a split second. Man, these kids have it tough. But I think for the most part, they always say, well, it depends on your parents and how they raise you. No, we're all faced with these choices. Whether or not you come from an affluent family or a family that doesn't have much, you're going to be faced with those choices.
Yes.
The bottom line is, are you going to or not? And I just decided that wasn't going to be something I was going to.
But interesting, because too, you're a celebrity, you're a personality. A lot of people, they get a little bit juiced up before a show or before an event, and you never get juiced up.
Well, I get juiced up through adrenaline, for sure.
Oh,
Okay.
so
That
what
thing-
is the drug of choice, adrenaline, and how do you do that? What's your coping mechanism?
It's a natural high, because when it's time to turn it on. It's on. But I mean, I might go for maybe a couple of sips of Red Bull or, you know, Coca-Cola. No endorsements here, but a little sugar. But I mean, that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are looking at you right now because you're another area that you are in, and they're saying, Tony, you look really different. You look great. You look a lot younger, and you dropped a lot of weight. Where did that come from?
First of all, I'm a reflection of you two guys here. Yeah,
You're
so the
kind.
reflection of the lights. Boom, boom, boom.
But where is
The
that
light.
coming
Kind of
from?
glory.
That kind of glory. No, about 6 years ago, I took back my new passion of running, and I started off walking. For those of you out there who are trying to look for something to do, something different, and you asked, a drug of choice. My drug of choice back in the day was running.
Wow.
And so 6 years ago, I started off walking for about 6 months, and then the rest is history. You know how you walk with your friends, and then they start walking faster, and you start walking, and then next thing you know, you start jogging, and now it's very competitive. Very competitive.
To the point where you just ran the Chicago Marathon.
Chicago
Good
Marathon.
job, personal best.
Honolulu Marathon, half marathons. I mean, that's a passion that I like. I know for a lot of people say, no way.
And then he adds on swimming. So I said, why not just go
Swimming.
for the biking? Hello, Ironman. And he
Swimming.
goes, no, I'm not doing biking.
No, biking I did. It's not my cup of tea.
But this brings you joy, and it's an outlet for a lot of the...
And so for me, that's my outlet, you know. And then of course, worship music, kind of give into. So many doors have opened up because of COVID that, see, God knows what we need before we even ask for it.
Yes.
But sometimes we need to ask for it and speak it out so you can set that forth and have the angels move on your defense and say, okay, we're going to line these things up. He said it, but God's been waiting for it to be birthed into existence.
Preach it.
And
Preach
then,
it. Yes.
boom, these things start to happen. DOH, Department of Health, we started these sites where we can educate people who are vaccinated or not vaccinated. So now we're taking care of both sides, including Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, so that these are the people that were the hardest hit. Adult Friends for Youth is an organization that takes care of kids, anti-bullying, anti-trafficking, and helping these kids with violence paths, and they're trying to work through school, that organization, Choose Love, Choose Aloha.
I want to ask you about that because you just hit on one of the things that Tony Silva stands the most for, and it's the high-risk kids.
Yeah.
You help kids out in Waianae, Nanakuli, you help AFY, Adult Friends for Youth, Camp
I was
Agape.
one of the high-risk kids, just didn't
Were you
realize
really?
it because at the time of growing in a single-family home, a single-parent home, you know, mom's trying to make ends meet. I was the high-risk kid. So I understand not having much.
You were like that latchkey kid that you talk about, right?
I understand being homeless and not knowing you're homeless.
Right.
There's a community of kids
Were
out
you?
there, and
Were
I
you
was. You know, we would go camping for 3 months every year, not realizing that mom had it taken care of. The monies that was supposed to be used for rent, she would take and use for other things while we camped for 3 months.
And Auntie would show up with extra groceries at the beach.
Groceries, food. I mean, but we still that was fun. It wasn't until many, many years later that I realized, we weren't really camping. We really didn't have a home. And I always wondered why we went into a new apartment or a new house coming back into the school year. I just thought it was cool, like, oh, wow, we're changing. You went from Hauula, Waipahu, Kailua, Kalihi. We moved around a lot, year in and year out.
And look how God has used those life experiences and life lessons and why it's resonating with you to do and have that passion for what you do now.
Absolutely.
And he gave you the vehicle from your gift and talent, and now you're extending it into the community and humanity, and you're basically ministering for the Lord undercover sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, and people always say, oh, how did you and James know when you were funny? Like, how did it all start? Was it from when you were small? And really, I was pretty much to myself. I was, semi-introverted, not too funny. But then I started to impersonate people and commercials and things, and I think for James it's the same way. But I truly didn't realize it till I was in high school Then I started impersonating coaches, teachers. When I went away to basic training, I started impersonating my drill sergeant.
Oh, that's a...
And when you do that, you're taking a gamble because
Yes.
what if it doesn't work?
Right, right.
And then you start doing things after working for Don Ho for many years, doing impersonations backstage. It took James and I almost 10 years before we started the Braddahs. It took us a while. Yeah,
But
so it
look
wasn't
how all
just
of that
something that started.
How it all came together?
Really
Yeah.
coalesces into what is now the 25th anniversary, Silva
25
anniversary of the
years.
Braddahs.
Crazy, right?
Tell us where we can catch you before we run out of time.
So you can catch us on Spectrum OC16, of course,
Classic.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're doing some stuff for that. We got a brand new show coming out this year, which is Finding Aloha with the Braddahs.
Oh,
And
cherry.
we also have a huge kickball tournament that we're going to feature on Sports, Spectrum, OC Sports, OC16, where we have different organizations challenge each other kickball style and raise money for
Hey,
some
maybe
of the...
New Hope Oahu can
Absolutely.
jump in that
More
tournament.
than welcome
And
to.
our star player is going to be Don
I
O'Brien.
was just going to say, I'm trying to fade into black and be invisible.
What's your favorite?
I refuse
What's
to
your
play
favorite
rugby
role?
again.
What's your favorite
Again.
role? Slow baby bounce?
I like to go dodge right for the head. I go right target torpedo for the
Tongan
head.
princess, I mean, you know.
And maybe there will be another comedy album coming out. Are
And
we
then
doing that?
we've been talking about another comedy project for sure.
And
But
stand up.
stand up too. I mean, we've always kind of dabbled a little bit in stand up because of our performances already. But maybe in the later years after the Braddahs, we'll do more stand up. But I did want to say one thing before we go, and very quickly. For those of you who have been struggling with a mental health or struggling with depression, go to a trusted adult. May it be a pastor, somebody in your church. It could be a doctor. It could be a best friend, right? Somebody that you can lean into. Don't hold it all in. You don't have to hold it all in. Share it with somebody. You'll be much better for it. But I appreciate your time.
Oh,
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
Na'ukaho Oli, the pleasure
Aye,
is ours. Thank you, Tony Silva, and happy Silva anniversary to the Braddahs.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Chee-hoo!
Na'uka hau'oli, the pleasure is ours. This was a great example of when a job can be a joy. And having Tony Silva as a guest was pure joy.
He's a box of Cracker Jacks, full of goodies, but then you get the surprise too. And with Tony, that surprise for a lot of people is the depth of insight that he brings in a way that doesn't talk down, but always lifts you up. And that's the surprise prize that lasts long after the laughter fades.
Hey, be sure to support our local artists, including the Braddahs. You can catch their Silva anniversary all year long, and of course, the Braddahs TV show on Spectrum, as well as free daily LOLs on social media.
Happy 25th Silva anniversary to the Braddahs. May God continue to bless you with loud laughs and aloha always.
Once again, mahalo ohana for sharing some precious time together with us on this joyful edition of Living Hope. Our prayer is no matter what, you'll always have a living hope. From all of us to all of you,